Welcome to episode 2 of Rival House. Once again, I am Hunter, accompanied by Chris,
What's up, guys?
Justin,
Yo,
and Kanava.
how you doing, guys?
What a fun week of sports news this has been. A lot of things going on in South Florida and all over the country. But I kind of want to take a little detour here, boys. I got a question for you to start off week 2 here. In your opinion, what city has the most obnoxious sports fan base? So the fans that if they're coming to your town or you're going to their town, ones that talk the most trash, the most ignorant, give me opinion. Kanava smiling. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I'll start it off. I'm going to go say Philly. Great rivalry, obviously, with New York. We hate each other in all aspects of life, all aspects of sports. But we did take over your city last year. Your teams don't show up in the playoffs. You traded A.J. Brown because he's a crybaby. A lot of locker room drama consistently with the Eagles. Your baseball team always chokes in the playoffs. But your fans are just douchebags, straight up scumbags. Fans throw batteries. You booed Santa Claus. You're just throwing shit. I've seen videos of fans puking on other fans. Just straight up, just gnarly stuff. So not only do your sports teams always end up choking or there's always some drama, but fans are just straight up classless. And that's coming from a Yankees fan.
Chris, who you got?
That's saying a lot. Well, I got to go with the Dallas Cowboys. They have got to be the worst fans in the league. They are so delusional. When have they done anything in the past 30 years? I mean, it's every time they go anywhere, they think they're coming into the year, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl. And they're just so delusional and they're arrogant and they think they're, the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it's really annoying to watch.
Every year is their year.
Every year
is their year, right? Chrisetti, who you got?
You guys are missing the most obvious one by miles, and it's clearly New York. Okay, bing bong, bing bong.
Bing bong, baby.
Exactly. Okay, I actually know a Jets fan who last year said that they could make it to the playoffs. And how many wins did they finish with? Well, they have 2 or 3 wins.
I didn't say they could make it to the playoffs. I just said they could contend for the 7th seed.
I don't know.
Contending for the 7th seed. And
I think we got receipts on that.
I wasn't even going to put you out there.
Pull them up.
I wasn't even going to
put
you
have
out.
Receipts on
Pull
that.
them up.
Pull up the receipts.
All right.
I wasn't even going to put you
for
out
the next
like
episode. We'll pull
them up.
for that.
I said contending for the 7th seed.
Okay, how many wins?
Contending.
That's besides the point. That's besides the point. Yeah, everything you said about Philly, I agree, in Dallas, but New York is just on a whole nother level with football and basketball by far.
Bing bong.
I'm actually going to have to disagree with all three of you. The clear answer here is Boston. They are the most obnoxious sports fans in all of America. They act like every championship is their birthright. They'll remind you about every title from 20 years ago in every debate. You'll be debating them against the Celtics, and somehow Tom Brady's brought up into the conversation. In my opinion, I've seen the Boston Bruins. I have seen the Celtics versus the Heat in the playoffs, and I've seen the Patriots. And every single time, you leave with a migraine. Those fans are the most obnoxious. Moving on. My hot take this week, Connor McDavid will never win a Stanley Cup with the Edmonton Oilers. They have already wasted his prime. McDavid has been in Edmonton for over a decade. And yes, he has multiple MVP seasons. The Oilers still haven't gotten over the hump consistently. They reached back-to-back Stanley Cup finals and came up short to who? The Florida Panthers. Too much money is tied up between McDavid and Draisaitl. No one's taking a pay cut to go to Edmonton. Nobody wants to live in Edmonton. Nobody wants to play with McDavid. The Western Conference is completely loaded with Colorado, Dallas, Vegas, and Winnipeg. I don't even see them making it back to the Western Conference Finals, let alone winning a Stanley Cup. His only hope of winning Stanley Cup is taking a pay cut and coming to Florida. That's my hot take of the week.
Hear, hear.
I don't know if he'll ever make his way down south to Florida, but I will say three out of his first 4 seasons in the NHL missed the playoffs. 2019, they lost in the qualifying round. 2021, they lost in the first round. Next season, lost in conference finals. Next season, lost in second round. Next season, lost in Stanley Cup. Year after that, lost the Stanley Cup. And then they got bounced in the first round this year.
So what you're saying is he's a loser.
He's no Wayne Gretzky. Let's just put it that way. Moving
I
on,
agree
boys.
with your
Go ahead,
take.
sorry.
I agree with your
Yep.
take on the that he won't win one with Edmonton, but you don't think there's a possibility he gets traded?
I don't think they can look their fan base in the face and trade Connor McDavid. I think they will try to do everything they can to re-sign him, and it'll basically happen like they did to Toronto just did with one of their players, where they took it all the way to the end and lost him for nothing. And I think McDavid will end up
I
walking.
do agree with your take on the salary and all that they're not going to be able to put the right pieces around him to be able to build a team for them to win a championship. It's not in the West, but if they're willing to, or he wants to move on somewhere else and compete somewhere else, there's a possibility. But with Edmonton, I agree with that. I don't think he'll win one with them.
Yeah, I think it's more likely he gets traded in the next 2 years than he wins the Stanley Cup.
I agree.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. My second hot take and final one of the week: the Maple Leafs are the Dallas Cowboys of the NHL. Now, when I say they are the Dallas Cowboys of the NHL, I'm looking at the biggest market, some of the most rowdy fan bases, the biggest amount of pressure each year. And I think basically, like we were talking about earlier, Chris, I feel like every year is their year, and the Maple Leafs truly believe that. And they get their heart broken, whether it's the first round, second round, or like this year, and they don't even make the playoffs. So the Maple Leafs are the Dallas Cowboys of the NHL. And until they get rid of their GM and maybe even find a new owner, same thing's going to happen. Players aren't going to want to play there. Players aren't going to want to have the high tax of Canada and go play for the Maple Leafs. So that is my hot take. Moving on to some NBA. Chris, what is one of your hot takes of the week?
So what I have is, if healthy, Giannis will lead the Miami Heat to the #1 seed in the East, and he will win MVP.
Music to my ears.
I don't see the #1 seed coming to fruition. I think there's a couple top teams out there. New York, Detroit, Cleveland, probably top 3. In my opinion, you can jostle for a position. #1 seed doesn't really matter a whole lot in the playoffs, in my opinion. When's the last time a #1 seed won? OKC. I don't even think they were the #1 seed. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, 100% agree. I mean, Giannis is MVP caliber player. He's easily a top 5 player in the league. When he's healthy, he's always going to be in the conversation. His last couple years, 29, 11, 5, 31, 11, and 5, 30, 11, and 6. And even on a down year, he was 27 and 9 this past year on a minutes limit, and also banged up, consistently out of the lineup, and inferior talent around him.
Chris, what do you see his stats line averaging this year?
I think he's going to average easily double-digit rebounds. I think we're going to see is significantly with him. That's if a certain player, we won't talk about him right now, if he doesn't come to the Heat, which I don't think he is, but we could talk about that another time. But I think you're going to see a big improvement in Giannis's facilitating. That's what they're going to put. He's going to have the ball in his hands more, and you're going to have Bam slashing to the hole. So I think you're going to see a huge, significant increase with his assist total. And then you're going to have, and he's a walking 30 points a game. So you're going to see, he's going to give you a double-double with the points and rebounds, but you're going to see a significant improvement. I think he could average 8 assists a game. So, and that's where it's going to catapult him. And they're going to run the offense through him.
Listen, he's already done it twice. If you can get back to a couple of years ago where he was averaging 30 points a game, the rebounds seem like he's definitely going to, hit those double digits like you said. But if he can get back to those 30 points a game average, he could definitely get his third MVP.
And just to touch on Canava's, reason why my thing is with the #1 seed is a lot of teams in the East have a lot of question marks. So we know the Heat are going to be, solid defensively. And now you're plugging in a guy that's going to get you 30 points a game. We know they have, if not the best coach in the league, they have one of the best coaches in the league. So they're going to always be ready every game to play. So that's not even question. So now you're plugging in Giannis that he's going to average 30 and 12 and, 5 to 8 assists a game. So So I don't see how it's unlikely that the Heat end with the number 1 seed with all the question marks with the team in the East.
Definitely excited to see what is to come.
Yeah, I'll touch on that one last bit. Giannis has never averaged over 6.5 assists a game. Still, I mean, you could win an MVP with 30, 11, and 6. So I don't see the assist numbers jumping up too much. I think they'll leave a lot of the ball handling skills to their point guards. Davion Mitchell's solid, but I see them as a top 6 team. I don't see them as number 1 overall. I don't see them as a top 4. They really got to fill out that roster. Obviously, you kind of hinted at it. Player to be named later could potentially sign with them. It's still up in the air right now, but we'll see how that roster shapes up. But I think top 6 is pretty solid for the Heat for how they are right now, roster wise.
Love it. Chris, what else you got for us?
All right. Now, would you rather Dolphins finally win a playoff game this year or have a terrible season and land the number 1 overall pick in next year's draft? I'm going to start off with you, Justin.
In this draft class, that's a no-brainer. Give me a early pick.
Why is that?
It's a loaded quarterback class. I mean, even if you're not even looking at a quarterback, if you want to believe that they go someplace else like Jeremiah Smith, it's a loaded draft class in general. But this year in particular, we can definitely land a franchise quarterback. I see, at least 4 of them available out there.
But here's what I will say. If this team with Malik Willis can win a playoff game, then they hit on something. And Malik might be the truth. So it's tough because you don't want your favorite team.
If Malik can lead them to the playoffs, and if Malik can lead them to the playoffs, he might be our guy.
Yeah,
there ain't no Mike there. Yeah, I need you to show Malik a little bit more love on that. He brings them to the playoffs. There ain't no Mike in there. I need you. You might be walking around with a Malik Willis tattoo.
How many wins does Malik need to win to be the starter next season? And they avoid a quarterback in the draft.
You mean after next season? How many?
Yeah, he'll be it again next year too.
How many wins do they need to avoid drafting quarterback in the first round?
Yeah, I was going to say minimum 7, even with the tough schedule. He needs 7 wins and a tough schedule with a bad team for them not to draft a quarterback. Otherwise, they're handed. It's not because they're not going to want to; they're going to have to. Like their hand is going to be forced.
You think the fan base is going to be happy we pass on a Arch Manning or a Dante Moore or a Darian?
Well, I think what y'all are missing. I think what you guys are missing is. Remember, my question was to win a playoff game or land a number 1 overall pick. And the reason what y'all didn't touch on reason my answer would be is to win a playoff game is the biggest issue with the Miami Dolphins hasn't been bringing in talent. They've brought in players and Ndamukong Suh. They brought in Tyreek Hill. We can go on and on. They've brought in Ricky Williams. The problem is the culture. You have to change the culture. So, and that's what you're trying to build by bringing in the Packers head coach, the Packers GM. Because what did they say? The Packers have that culture built in them, ingrained in them. You need to change the culture in the Miami Dolphins. So that's what they are trying to do. So
you're not saying nothing wrong. I agree with that.
So reason why I would rather see them win a playoff game this year and have a number 1 overall pick, that tells me that the coach and the GM have changed the culture of the Miami Dolphins. And it's a light at the end of the tunnel for us, something we haven't seen in our lifetime. So, and we might be going a step in the right direction. So that's why I would say to win a playoff game with them coaches and that GM, with everyone saying this roster with Malik Willis, my answer would be.
I can make one argument against that. I don't think a playoff win defines culture change. I think you could easily go 3-14 and still change the culture. Just depending on how the guys show up every day. Hey, do they compete? Snap to snap, what do they look like in December when their season's over? Do they continue showing up? Do they continue fighting? Do they try to be a trap game against either Buffalo or New England? So there is ways to change the culture without without a playoff win.
I don't see how this coach and GM, after bringing in Malik Willis, that they're going to give up on him after 1 year, no matter how the season.
I don't think they do.
Yeah,
I think
I don't think they do either. Like we talked about next year, they can redshirt whatever quarterback they have and let them sit for a year because I don't think we're gonna be real competitive next year either. I like everything they're doing and I think they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
But it takes time.
Chris, that's why it's such a
Yeah.
good question because it really makes you think because there's so much more in play than just a draft pick or a playoff win drought. Like the coach, the GM, so much more is invested. Like they hope Malik's the guy. They put all their chips in on Malik for at least 2 seasons. Did they make the right call as their first big signing? So there's a lot riding on how he does and how we do in the next 2 years, but we'll see. Good question. What else you got for us?
Well, we touched on it earlier with the Miami Heat about a certain player might be coming back down to South Beach, might be taking his talents back to South Beach. Where do you guys have LeBron James going and why? I'll start off with you.
I'm going to go say Golden State. I think the relationship with Steph Curry and Draymond, I don't think he can turn that down. More than likely his last year. Then at the same time, he's going to remain on the West Coast. He wants to be close to his daughter. I don't see him going to Miami. I don't see him going to Cleveland. Philly's a lot of question marks. I don't like that team chemistry that they have there. I think Embiid and Maxey kind of butt heads a lot when they're both on the court. So yeah, I see Golden State go out one last year, try to get a ring with Kerr, with Green, Curry, and LeBron. And we're forgetting about Jimmy Butler potentially if he comes back from that ACL.
I mean, I think there's only one logical choice, and it's the Miami Heat. I think he already has a house in Miami. His wife, Savannah, has said multiple times that has been her favorite city that she's lived in. I do agree with you, Justin, when you brought up his daughter. I know his daughter is a big-time volleyball player, and she's young, and apparently they've been in LA since she's in preschool, and so does he really want to bring her out of California or
Tough to uproot that.
Yeah, that it really is. That's honestly, I think at this point, it's the only reason why I can see Golden State. But I think as far as team wise go, I think him and Pat Riley have kind of fixed things. And I know he's a big fan of Giannis and Bam. They played in USA basketball together, him and Bam, so they have that relationship. He's not
Spo too.
And Spo too. He's not going to Philly. He's not. I don't even think he's a big Jaylen Brown fan. There's a lot of things with him. Him getting kind of not invited to Team USA, and some people said LeBron might have had something to do with it, so on and so forth, or Nike or this or that. So it'd be interesting to see. I don't think Philly's a choice. He's not living in Philly his final years of the NBA. That's for sure.
According to Kalshi, Miami Heat has the number 1 odds right now that he goes to Miami.
Vegas knows. That's what I've come to learn. Vegas usually knows.
I gotta agree with Kanaba on this one. I think he stays in Golden State. He's gonna stay closer to home. I think he goes to Golden State. I think he's gonna stay closer to home. And I think it'll do a lot for his legacy if Golden State is struggling the way they've been struggling the last couple of years. Now he goes there and now they win a championship. When he goes there, that'll say a lot about his legacy. Because if he goes to the Heat, no one's gonna say that the Heat won the championship because of LeBron. This go around, it's going to be because of Giannis. So if he goes to Cleveland,
I agree.
they're already a built team. I don't think that's a good fit anyway with James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. So Philly, I agree with you on that, Hunter. He ain't going to Philly. I don't see him living in Philly. So I think the only logical answer is I thought Cleveland when this was all coming about, but I just don't think that fit. The whole coming home thing is great. I just don't see the fit basketball wise with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, because we know LeBron James doesn't want to play defense at this stage in his game either. So if he goes to Golden State, you got Draymond, still a great defender. You got Jimmy Butler once he comes back. Now he can focus on being that 3-and-D and defending number 1 players on the other opposing team. So you got Steph Curry, he's the best 3-point shooter in the league. So now you're plugging LeBron James in to just orchestrate the offense. So if Golden State can go and they go and win a championship in that stacked Western Conference, and they win a championship by LeBron James going to that'll speak a lot about his legacy when he retires.
Love it. Justin, what's your hot take of the week?
Move aside Gibbs, move aside McCaffrey, move aside Bijan. There's a new running back 1 overall. Omarion Hampton will finish as the running back 1 in fantasy and will be one of the best running backs in the league.
Well, Out of all the guys, Omarion Hampton?
Absolutely. And here's
All
why.
right, let's hear it.
Here's why. The Chargers are going to have a top 7 offense. I don't think many people would disagree with that. I mean, you guys have been, and some of you guys have been hard on Herbert at saying like you love him and he's a fantastic quarterback, but they're bringing in a guy who's the missing piece, and that's Mike McDaniel. We know him very well here. He's an offensive-minded mastermind, specifically in running the ball. His time in San Fran, 4 years as a run game coordinator, 1 year as an offensive coordinator. We saw what he did with Devon Achane in Miami. He made Devon Achane extremely fantastic. I mean, the guy was great on an average offensive line. Last year, LA Chargers, they were missing 2 of their Pro Bowl offensive tackles in Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. Both of them are legitimate top 5 tackles in the league. And on top of that, the team just spent 4 of their 8 draft picks on the offensive line. One of those being Jake Slaughter in the 2nd round from Florida. So due to those reasons, due also the fact that the guy can catch the ball, if he stays healthy, he's in a great spot. Why can't he be a number 1 running back?
Can I touch on that?
Go ahead, Chris.
I like the talent of Hampton, but I think just the style of offense that Mike McDaniels is going to want to run, I think you're going to see Vidal play a lot more than what you think he's going to play. So I don't think Hampton's going to get the touches to be able to compete with the other rushers in the league, to be able to compete with as far as being the number 1 leading rusher in the league running back this year. So I think you're going to have Vidal's going to be the receiving back. Hampton's going to be your running back to wear down the defense. And you got to understand, Herbert's going to, they're going to want to get the ball in Herbert's hands. So they didn't just pay him all that money for no reason. So I don't think he's going to get the touches to be able to be the number 1 running back this year.
Keenan Allen's gone. He caught 81 balls last year. They didn't add a receiver. They still got Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey, Trey Harris, I think his name is. So, I mean, someone's got to catch balls. Keenan Allen's gone. Like I said, 81
Like
catches.
I said, I think you're going to see a lot more of Vidal, and I think who's that tight end they got? Gadsden?
Gadsden, yeah.
I think Gadsden, when he came on the end of the season, he came on very strong. So
We got any stats for
Yeah,
us?
to Crissetti's point, Harbaugh loves pounding the rock. Obviously, McDaniel loves running the ball. I don't have any stats pulled up for this, but I can.
It's a good take. I understand the reasoning behind it. I just can't see it.
I mean, the draft capital alone shows that they're serious about.
Now, are we talking just number 1 running back as far as fantasy goes, or are we talking about leading rusher in the league?
I said I think he'll be the number 1 running back in fantasy next year, and he could possibly be the best, the leading rusher next year. Yes. The Kamani Vidal. I mean, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about a 6th round draft pick when this guy was just taken in the 1st round last year. I'm just not worried. Sorry. He doesn't scare me. Omarion Hampton.
I'm not saying he should scare, but a lot of these offenses, they want to go with a split back, and they want to try to conserve their running backs as long as they can, because we know running backs' lifespan in the NFL is very short. So if you can take some of that beating off of Hampton and unfortunately put it on Vidal, I mean, I think the Chargers are going to do that.
Through his playing this year,
Vidal proved that he can be productive in the NFL.
I get it. He's a good spell back. He averaged 3.5 catches this year. All those vacated targets from Allen. I mean, why can't he get 5? Why can't he average 5 catches a game?
Do you think McCaffrey takes a step back? I mean, he wasn't efficient as a runner, but I mean, the passing efficiency was just receiving was.
We see very often when running backs have this extreme caseload, like someone like McCaffrey just did, that the next year they take a step back. I mean, it's just brutal on the body to do what he did, multiple years. And I didn't even mention any of the injury concerns.
I like it.
Justin, what else you got for us?
Can I have any stats or no? We're moving on?
Yeah, we'll move on.
Okay. So my next take is that Notre Dame is one of the most overrated brands in college football. We know that they're independent, so they have the luxury of picking their own schedule, and that benefits them greatly. But they're consistently rated year after year extremely high in the preseason ranking. The last time they won a championship was almost 40 years ago in 1988.
Wow.
Again, going back to the rankings, they have been ranked the top 10. They've been ranked inside the top 10 preseason in 6 of the last 7 years. So do they have a talent? They have extreme talent roster. They're ranked number 6 right now. I'd say they're probably a top 5 team. But once they start playing, extreme talent, you look at their schedule this year. Miami's the hardest game that they're going to face all year. Other than that, in SMU, they got a pretty cakewalk schedule. So once they start, playing some real talent, we'll see what they do.
I think it comes down to what have you done lately? And, like you said, there's always just too much hype around them. And then the big games, I know they have made it to a couple national championship games. I think neither one of them were close. If I can remember, I think one was a complete blowout.
2012, they got blown out by Bama.
Yeah.
Blown out.
They got stomped out of the stadium.
And what's their head coach's name? Their current head coach,
Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, I think he's. I just saw actually something that he's all in this season. I think he's all out at the end of the season. I think he goes to the NFL next season.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. This is probably his most talented roster. Him with a defensive background, the defense is going to look nice. They're projected to have at least three first draft picks right now. So the talent's there. We'll see if they can put it all together and come together, but we'll see.
I actually agree with Justin's take on that. I agree with all his points on that.
Yeah, Notre Dame lives off of Rudy and the Lou Holtz era. Back when,
Hall of Fame coach.
Notre Dame was...
He mentions Rudy.
Too soon? Yeah, back in 88 was their last championship. Bob Davie, inconsistent. Tyrone Willingham only had 3 seasons, lost 2 bowl games. Charlie Weiss had 5 seasons, 1 and 2 in bowl games. Brian Kelly, he had from 2010 to 2021, he 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bowl game wins. And then obviously the national championship. But Marcus Freeman, say what you want about him. Great coach. Say what you want about Notre Dame. Got to the national championship in 2024. They lost to Ohio State, but won the Sun Bowl and won the Gator Bowl first 2 years. Really, he wasn't supposed to be the coach for Notre Dame. They wanted to go elsewhere. Players kind of revolted and stuck up for him in front of the AD. And a kind of last-minute decision, they ended up promoting Freeman to the head coach position rather than hiring a outside candidate.
Wow.
So pretty cool story there. But yeah, Notre Dame definitely living off of Rudy. I agree 100%. And it's kind of given like an imposter syndrome. They're always top 10 team, but always get bounced somehow, some way.
The quarterback TJ Carr is another guy that is first round worthy next year. Look out for him. They got some guys on defense for sure. But like I said, we'll see if this is their year.
All right, Justin. Let's do a little predictions here, okay? I'm gonna run off the NFL divisions, and I don't want you to pick the winners. I want you to pick the losers. So, Justin, predict the 2026 NFL division losers. Okay, you ready?
Yeah,
AFC East. So yeah, go ahead. AFC East, who do you have finishing in last place? Dolphins. AFC North, who you got?
In the AFC North, I'll say that's a tough one. In the AFC North, I'll say Cleveland. It's not that tough, actually.
I was like, where's
your head going? Easiest one.
I forgot for a second that Cleveland was in there.
Listen, I'm not a fan of Mike McCarthy, so I guess we'll see how that works. All right,
Yeah,
AFC South.
I actually think the Steelers will be competitive, but I forgot Cleveland was in that division.
Yeah. AFC South, who you got?
In last place, I'll say the Titans, but I think they improve.
Yeah, that's a good call there. AFC West.
AFC West. Oakland or Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's not a very talented roster.
It's not. And just a tough division.
Yeah, that's probably the second best division of football behind the NFC West.
How about the NFC East?
NFC East, you got the Giants, you got Philly, you got
Washington, Dallas.
Yeah, it's going to come down to Washington or New York, I think.
Who you got?
I'll say New York finishes last because I don't think Neighbors is coming back anytime soon.
Wow, Giants finished last place with Harbaugh.
Yeah, I think he could miss up to 8 games, to be honest.
How about in the NFC North?
Superstar.
NFC
NFC
North, we
North?
got the Bears, Packers, Vikings, and Lions.
I'll say the Vikings. Another very tough division.
Very tough division. This one always plays it very close. The NFC South.
That is a tough one to predict. I'm gonna say the New Orleans Saints finish last. It's either
And
them, in my opinion, it's either them or Atlanta. But I think Atlanta has a little more talent. I think Tua's gonna be decent enough. He's got weapons.
I agree.
He doesn't have to win too many games. He could just manage the game. Hand off to Bijan.
And then finish it off. NFC West.
Arizona Cardinals for sure. Those other three teams are all legitimate Super Bowl contenders.
So in the AFC East, you have the Dolphins. In the AFC North, you have the Cleveland Browns. In the NFC South, you have the Tennessee Titans. In the AFC West, you have the Las Vegas Raiders. Jumping to the NFC East, you went with the Giants. In the NFC North, you went with the Vikings. NFC South, you went with the Saints. NFC West, you went with the Arizona Cardinals. Those are going to be the biggest losers of the 2026 season. Very interesting. All right.
Which I
Well,
I feel pretty confident with those, but if anyone disagrees, jump on.
those are some really
I
safe
disagree
bets.
with those.
Chris, what do you
disagree
got?
with a few of those.
What's your opinion on that?
I would go with the. Well, you
Yeah,
already
which
know
division
where
would
I'm
you
going with
change?
that.
Let's hear about the AFC East, Chris. Come on.
The AFC East, the New York Jets are going to finish as the worst record in that division, and then I would go with the AFC South. I actually have the Colts finishing last in that division.
Yeah, you got something
That'll be
against the Colts there, buddy.
huge. That'll be
You-
huge for Tennessee.
Jets would appreciate that.
I have the Colts finishing last. I don't think Daniel Jones looks the same. He just got paid, which they overpaid. And Jonathan Taylor, we've seen his production plummet towards the end of the season. We've seen the Colts plummet towards the end of the season when that injury happened. So I think that carries on into this year, and they're gonna. I think they're gonna end up with the worst. I think they can end up with the worst record in the league. They traded Pittman, so we'll see where they go, where they're heading. Alec Pierce is injured already, dealing with an injury. I think they overpaid him. I think that was a bad move on their part, paying him all that money as well. I thought he was overrated. So Josh Downs can't stay healthy. So I mean, where do they go? Where do they get production from?
Yeah,
they
Canava.
have a-
What Canava? Which anyone that you would like to change that you would think?
I would say the Falcons probably. I'm in last place. I would say Titans, Raiders, Browns, toss up between the Jets, Dolphins, Giants. I could see Minnesota finishing last. But yeah, I would switch out Falcons. I just don't see it from the quarterback position. Saints, I think, are going to surprise a lot of teams. So I disagree on
Agreed.
Crissetti's take on that.
I got a little crazy take here. Caleb Williams, Madden curse by week 2, out for the season. Finish last in the division.
Don't do him like that. Give him
Yeah.
at least week 4.
Sorry.
He just wants to see. He just
Don't
wants
do
to
him
see
like that.
Tyler Badgett in there. That's what he wants.
Nope. With that, yeah, I'm just waiting to trade him. All right, let's some good stuff there, guys. Canava, go ahead and give me a hot take for us this week.
Yeah, I'll jump to baseball a little bit. We have the trade deadline coming up. I think some buyers and some sellers come trade deadline. I could definitely see some surprise teams coming up. I think the Nationals and the Pirates surprisingly are going to be buyers. I don't see them selling at the trade deadline. I think they're kind of on the cusp. Both are in contention for the last wild card spot. Pirates have one of the best offenses in baseball. Same with the Nationals. So I could see both teams being buyers rather than sellers. Some surprising teams, I think that would end up being sellers. Houston Astros, they have an aging roster. Jose Altuve, it's just a name. One guy, I think they need to retool. I think they need to kind of revamp their system. And the biggest fluke from last year, Toronto Blue Jays. I think they end up becoming sellers. George Springer's old. I think they might try to offload his bat. Nothing really worked out like they did last year. Ernie Clement's down. Alejandro Kirk is down. Vlad Guerrero down season. All these guys are having down seasons after they put up one of the most remarkable comebacks in recent memory. I think they were down 7 to 8 games in middle of the season, and they ended up chasing down the Yankees. Overtook first place. I've talked a lot of shit about the Yankees beating them in the playoffs. And hey, Yankees are consistent. Blue Jays one and done. So I see them becoming big sellers come trade deadline. A lot of pieces I think is ship off for prospects, and they can kind of retool, try to reload. Last one, New York Mets. Not to brag on the other team in the city, but just a lot of bad contracts. A lot of guys that can get moved for prospects. Freddie Peralta, Devin Williams, Francisco Lindor's name is being thrown out there a lot. That's some big money guys. Bo Bichette can potentially opt out or opt in. His contract is kind of up in the air of what happens there. So I see the Mets being big time sellers come trade deadline.
So if you're the Mets GM, is that what you would do? Would you sell and say, hey, this squad isn't working. Maybe it's time to retool and kind of go in a different direction? Or you already have so much money invested, would you go out and say, hey, maybe this isn't our year, but next year, if we add a couple pieces, we can be right up there?
I think they got to retool.
Wow.
I think their entire clubhouse is very toxic. The Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor beef is apparently a real thing. It's been acknowledged multiple times by Steve Cohen, the owner. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Apparently, it started over Lindor not texting Juan Soto a welcome to New York text message back last offseason. Apparently, they were supposed to name Lindor captain, but it didn't sit well with Soto. So there's some high school drama going on there. So I think if I'm the GM, I think I probably tend to get rid of Lindor after just giving Juan Soto $750 million.
Yeah.
It's a lot of bread, boys.
Just to touch on his one with the Marlins, I definitely can see them being buyers. Unfortunately, they're struggling right now. They're actually down 5-1 right now in the top of the 7th. So, we know they're on a 7-game losing streak, and they've been outscored by, I think it's 15 runs in the last 7 games.
Jeez.
So they're in a slump right now, just from previous to that to being the hottest team in baseball. So they could feel that they need to make a move. But I think they are a well-coached team with Clayton. It's just a matter of, can they put the pieces there, and do they have? Because we know they've always had an issue with keeping players because they just don't have the salary cap and the luxury of these big market teams for baseball. So, but they may see an opportunity here to make some noise towards the end of the season and get into the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs. So I can see them being buyers.
Yeah, I agree. They are struggling a bit right now, but they do have some trade pieces. But like the Nationals, like the Pirates, I can see them holding on to their chips and actually acquiring guys so they can probably make a push for the playoffs.
Love it. Okay, Kanava, it's let's actually continue with you with a little. I know we kind of touched on it last week, but we'll run through this pretty quick here. Win-loss record for the New York Jets for the 2026 season. Tell me when you're ready, and we'll go through this.
Give me a second, pull it up.
Absolutely.
Be realistic.
And if someone can pull this up, what is the over/under wins for the Jets this season? Can't be more than, I'm assuming, 5.5, right? I'm assuming somewhere around there.
I'll say 4.5.
I'd say probably like 4.5.
4.5. I think that's what the Dolphins were. So I'd give them an additional game. I'm interested to see where we're up against Vegas.
5.5.
There you go.
5.5. I would probably take the under. I think they are going to sit right at 5. I think they win their revenge game against Tennessee, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago. I think they drop all of those. Cleveland, I think they win. At New England, that's a loss. Home against Miami, that's a win. Home against Las Vegas, that's a win. At Kansas City, home against Buffalo, at Los Angeles Chargers, at Miami, I think we lose all of them. Home against Denver, that's a loss. At Arizona, that's a win. Home against New England, Minnesota, Buffalo, all losses.
Okay, I'm gonna go real quickly week by week, and you just tell me, and I'll have it all written down. Okay, so week 1 at Tennessee,
Lost.
Week 2 at home against Green Bay.
Shit, sorry.
It's okay.
Start over.
Sure. We got week 1 at Tennessee. We got week 2 home against Green Bay.
Lost.
Week 3 at Detroit.
Lost.
Week 4 at Chicago.
Lost.
Week 5 home against the Browns. Week 6 at New England.
Lost.
Week 7 home against the Finns.
Win.
Week 8, home against the Raiders.
Win.
Week 9 at Arrowhead.
Lost.
Week 10 at home against Buffalo.
Lost.
Week 11 at the Chargers.
Lost.
Week 12 at Miami.
Lost.
Week 13, we got a bye. We jump to week 14.
That's a win, baby.
Yeah, it's a win. Week 14 at Denver.
That's a loss.
Week 15 at Arizona.
That's a win.
Week 16, home against the Patriots.
Lost.
Week 17, home against the Vikings.
It's a loss.
Finish off at Buffalo week 18.
That's a loss.
You have the
So what
Jets
was
going
the
1,
final there?
2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5 and
4
12.
and-
Yeah, 5 wins there. 2, 3.
5 wins?
4 wins, excuse me. Yep, 4 wins. 1, 2, no, 1, 2, 3, 4.
No,
no, you have
5.
5 wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 wins.
5 wins. 5 wins. Does that save Aaron Glenn's job for next year or no?
No.
They give him year 3.
Depends how the losses are. If they're blown out, the defense plays bad. Yes. If it's 7 points or less most of the time, I think he gets another year.
Are they taking a quarterback?
More than likely, yeah.
Then I think Aaron Glenn. I think Aaron Glenn is gone.
Fair enough.
All right, moving on. Staying in the AFC East. Chris, I'm going to go week by week. Are you ready for the Miami Dolphins
I'm ready for this one.
2026? Miami Dolphins 2026 win-loss record prediction. Chris,
Let's do it.
here we go. Week 1, Week 1 at Las Vegas Raiders.
It's a win.
Week 2 at the 49ers.
That's a loss.
Week 3 home against the Chiefs.
That's a win.
Week 4 at the Vikings.
That's another win.
Amazing. Week 5 home against the Bengals.
That is a win.
Week 6 bye. Week 7 another win on a bye. Incredible. At the Jets week 7.
That's a win.
Week 8 home against the Patriots.
That's a loss.
Week 9 home against the Lions.
That's a loss.
Week 10 at the Colts.
That's a win.
Week 12 at Buffalo. Week 11 at Buffalo.
That's a loss.
Week 12 home against the Jets.
That's a win.
Week 13 at Mile High.
Loss.
Week 14 home against the Bears.
Loss.
Week 15 at the Packers.
Have that as a win.
Week 16 home against the Chargers.
Loss.
Week 17 home against the Bills.
Loss.
Yeah, they love to destroy us at the end of the season for some reason. Week 18 away at the Patriots.
Loss.
Chris, you have the Dolphins winning 8 games in the 2026 season.
Bold.
8 games. And the over-under, can someone give me the Miami Dolphins over-under?
4.5.
I'm pretty sure it's 4.5. Yeah.
4.5.
4.5. You have 3.5 wins, what Vegas is saying. I love it.
I look at the schedule real quick. I look at the schedule and I only see 5 possible winnable games. It's the Jets twice, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Indianapolis Colts. And I think the Colts and the Vikings are basically a coin flip. I think we probably split with the Jets. So at best, I think this team goes 5-12.
The reason why I think that the Dolphins overachieve this year is where they're playing the certain teams. They're playing the Chiefs early in the season where you don't know if Mahomes is going to be healthy. You're playing the Cincinnati Bengals where they don't ever start the season off well as a team. Zach Taylor never has them ready. So that's another reason why I have them upsetting the Bengals. Same thing with the Vikings. Kyler Murray, there's a lot of question marks with that team. They're playing them early on in the season. So, and then we know teams like to come in and be a spoiler, and you brought in a lot of players from the Green Bay Packers. Hey, that could be a coming out party for Malik Willis and the Miami Dolphins staff. And I could very easily see that being an upset win against the Packers. So that's why that's my prediction with them. That's why I have them winning the games I have them winning.
All right. Kanava, do you want to go ahead and read off the Patriots schedule for Crissetti?
All right. New England Patriots 2026 schedule. Week 1 at Seattle, rematch of the Super Bowl.
That's a loss.
Week 2 home against Pittsburgh. Week 3 at Jacksonville.
Loss.
Week 4 at Buffalo.
Loss.
Week 5 home against the Raiders.
Easy dub.
Week 6 home against the Jets. Week 7 at Chicago Bears.
Loss.
Week 8 at Miami. Week 9 home against Green Bay. Week 10 home against Detroit. Week 11 is a bye week. Week 12 at Los Angeles Chargers.
Loss.
Week 13 home against the Bills. Week 14 home against Minnesota. Week 15 at Kansas City.
Loss.
Week 16 at New York Jets. Week 17 home against Denver.
Loss.
Week 18 home against Miami.
You already know win.
Okay.
What's the total, Hunty?
You have them going 10-7.
I think that's pretty realistic. The schedule gets tougher, a lot tougher than last year. But at the same time, they've added playmakers.
What's interesting is you have them starting the season have them starting the season
1 and 3,
1-3.
right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
that's
storyline right there. There would be a lot of people up in arms in New England if that happens.
That's a tough start. I mean, Jacksonville is a sneaky team.
A lot of NFL insiders will be at Mike Vrabel's house, I'm sure. Too soon?
Never too soon. Never too soon. All
Gotta
right.
throw the jabs when you can, boys.
Absolutely. Do you want to go ahead and read me up the Patriots schedule?
Yeah, I got you.
Not the Patriots. Who you got? Dolphins?
Bills?
No,
The Bills.
The Bills. Yeah.
These tickets are ridiculous. They got the ticket prices on here. $613 for week 2 home against Detroit. It's crazy.
So the Bills.
Oh, that's a home opener, though. That's a new stadium. That makes sense.
So the Bills 2026 win-loss record prediction.
Yeah. Week 1 at Houston. Week 2 home opener in their new stadium against Detroit.
Blowout win.
Week 3 home against the Chargers.
Win.
Week 4 home against the Patriots.
Loss.
Week 5 at the LA Rams.
That's a loss.
Week 6 they stay on the West Coast at Las Vegas.
That's a win.
Week 7 is bye. Week 8 home against Baltimore.
That's a good one. I think Baltimore struggles this year. That's a win.
Week 9 at Minnesota.
Easy dub.
Week 10 at the Jets.
Easy dub.
Week 11 home against Miami.
That's a win.
Week 12 home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Big game.
On Thanksgiving.
That's a loss.
That is on Thanksgiving, yeah. Week 13 at New England Patriots.
That's a win.
Week 14 at Green Bay.
That's a win.
Week 15 home against the Chicago Bears.
That's a loss.
Week 16 at Denver.
Christmas.
That's a loss.
Full game.
Week 17 at Miami, but it's really a Buffalo home game.
That's a win.
Week 18 home against the Jets.
I have the Buffalo Bills winning 12 games. And of course,
That's a
winning
tough
the division.
schedule.
It's a tough schedule. I think the Bills get
They're
better.
built for it, though.
Yeah, the Bills get better at the second half of the season, so I think they'll be fine. A lot of those tough games are in the back half. That's when Josh Allen really just turns it on, and so I think they're going to be the number 1 seed this year.
Yeah, I think they actually win 13 games. I don't see them losing 2 big primetime games, one to the Chiefs and one to Denver. I think they'll split those.
I mean, they're going to get 5
Who would
wins
you-
from just the division.
If they're the number 1 seed, who's the number 2 seed in AFC?
Chiefs.
Really?
If the Bengals stay healthy, maybe the
Chiefs?
Bengals.
The Chiefs in that division, I don't.
I was going to name 2 other AFC West teams before I named the Chiefs.
So would I.
Denver Broncos
Wow.
and the Chargers.
And the Chargers. So would I.
I think
I'm going
all
to
3 of
say,
them
I know a lot
probably
of people, we can talk about that, but a lot of people keep saying the Ravens. I think it's going to be a coin toss. I think the Ravens either really struggle or they could be, we see sometimes a team just needs a coaching change. And so they do have the talent. So either they could be, I could see them being the number 2 seed as well.
Yeah, I see Ravens having a down year again. I think they make another coaching change. And as someone as I think that's an organization that
Who did they bring in? Who's the new head coach?
Is it Munkin? No.
Mm-mm.
It's
he
they hired their
went to-
defensive coordinator, right? What did they bring on?
Oh.
I think they brought someone from in-house.
Jesse Minter.
Oh, that's right.
Took
Oh no,
over-
Chargers, right?
Yeah, from the Chargers. Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, never mind. He's not going to be gone 1 year then. I thought it was someone
I
in-house.
don't.
If
Yeah.
it's a new,
the Ravens don't do that.
he-
so they're
he's
not
a-
the only
he's-
team that does
He's
that.
a Harbaugh guy. 2017 to 2020, he was a defensive assistant defensive backs coach. He went to Vandy for a year, was their DC. Went to Michigan for 2 years. He was their DC there. Followed Harbaugh to the Chargers, was a DC for 2 years, and then took over for the other Harbaugh.
I could see the Chargers as well. I think they're a more complete team than the Ravens.
let's see, boys. That's going to be interesting. Chargers got to do something. Herbert needs a playoff win.
If the Chargers can
6-7
stay healthy,
years.
if that offensive line stays healthy, I could see the Chargers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. I think we hit on a lot of good stuff tonight.
All right. Well, that's another successful week. That's a week in episode number 2 for Rival House. It has been a pleasure. Signing off. Chris, Justin, Kanava, we're outie.
Deuces.
Until next week.
Yep.